Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to online classes and have a pleasant morning to all of you. Now, I, Ajay Kumar, your English teacher, is going to finish the second part, the second video of this chapter, Amanda by Robin Klein. Now, dear student, if you recall the first part of the video in which we have, already discussed about the summary and explanation of the, till sixth stanza, like how Amanda's mother is confronting with her daughter Amanda, and she's actually telling her to do the things according to her wish. And in on other hand, you can see how Amanda's rebel nature is coming out inside somewhere in her mind and her heart. So you can see Amanda's expectations and imaginations are far beyond her mother's understanding and all that. Now today we are going to read the seventh part of this stanza, and then we will try to understand the poetic device used in this poem. Right. So we have read till sixth stanza, and I'll repeat it once again. Like in this stanza, Amanda thinks like she's Rapunzel, and I have not a care. Life in a tower is tranquil and rare. I'll certainly never let down my bright hair. Now, this is a incident where Amanda is now, comparing herself with Rapunzel. Rapunzel is a fairy tale, she's goddess of that, and actually, if we'll go through, there's a movie also in that Rapunzel is having a long hair, quite long hair, quite beautiful, and she's laying down this hair out of the, that tar, and the person is coming, up with the help of those hairs. But in this stanza, you can see also like Amanda, which is now thinking about the Rapunzel. Now she says like when she will be Rapunzel, she will not allow her mother to climb her hair and reach till her to scold her like this. Now let us move ahead and read the seventh stanza that reads: Stop the sulking at once, Amanda. You are always so moody, Amanda. Anyone would think that I nagged at you, Amanda. Now, dear student, in this stanza, actually, her mother tries to uh, react her properly. Like the way she is doing, or reacting in front of her mother. She feels like she's now being so harsh. She's scolding her child. So in the same way, and she asks her to be quiet, right? She says like it was her right to scold her, and that's what she was doing. However, what Amanda feels, we will read it in the explanation. So in this stanza, Amanda's mother tells her to stop sulking. She also accuses her daughter of having mood swings very frequently. Finally, she tells Amanda that anyone who saw her would think that her mother has been nagging at her. It is obvious that Amanda's mother feels it is her duty to correct her daughter and to teach her the proper way to behave. And she does not believe that this can be an exhausting or irritating experience for Amanda. She is not caring about herself. Now, dear student, the poem ends here in this fashion, in this way. Like Amanda does not want anyone more to irritate her with the instructions given at the home. Now we will go through the poetic device used in all stanzas. As you can see here, first we will go through rhyming scheme, right? Rhyming scheme. So we'll look for the rhyming scheme. Like it is Amanda, Amanda, straight Amanda. Now we will see here it is A, B, A. This is the rhyming scheme used in number 1 stanza. We'll see it in number 3 as well. Amanda, Amanda, shoes, Amanda. A, B, A. This is the rhyming scheme used in this poem, right? Well, in fifth stanza also Amanda, Amanda, and you can see here, you and Amanda, A, B, A. Now we will move to next poetic device used in this poem, that is alliteration. That is alliteration. Okay. Now this means, now we'll start with second, that is alliteration, and in this we can see, first of all we must know what is called alliteration. Alliteration is a word, or you can say repetition of consonant sound in two or more consecutive words. Like here you can see in this, stop, starting of the words, stop, slushing, sit. So these are the consonant sound, and it's a repetition is done here, and it is more than two or more than two consecutive words you can see here. Now dear student, will move ahead, and now we'll move ahead, and we'll see in next stanza the rhyming scheme. What is the rhyming scheme in the stanza 2? That is see, me, and blissfully. Now here you can see the rhyming scheme used in this stanza is C, and C, and this is being used in stanza number 2, 4, and 6. Next poetic device what we are going to see in this second stanza is allusion, or you can say allusion. Now what is allusion? Allusion is a reference, you can say, which refers to some personified person or creature. Like here in this allusion you can see mermaid. Now mermaid, that means half creature, half fish, that is called mermaid. Okay. Now I'll explain it more. Now we'll see next poetic device, that is metaphor. Here H will be here H will be silent. Okay. So now metaphor is like poetic device which is being compared with I mean two non-living things or something like that. uh, Here we can see emerald is a green color, and sea is also having a greenish water. So emerald is being compared here with the sea. Next, well, now guys, we'll move to the stanza 3, and in stanza 3, I'll say now you find out the rhyming, actually a rhyming scheme in this stanza 3. What rhyming scheme has been used in this stanza 3, as we have discussed it in above part of the video. Just now we have discussed, so you can do I think by your own, and you should comment the answer in the comment box. Now you'll have to look for the rhyming scheme, then alliteration, then like assonance, allusion, then repetition, and metaphor. This all a poetic device you have to look for, and you have to answer in the comment section. And I'll provide you the like assignment work in which you have to uh, go through the all poetic devices used in all the stanzas of this poem. Well, guys, now we are moving ahead and we are going to see the exercise of this chapter. Now you can see here the questions. How old do you think Amanda is? How do you know this? Now these are the questions. You can read the question by your own. How do you think is speaking to her? Who do you think is speaking to her? What are stanzas 2, 4, and 6 given in parenthesis? Now who is the speaker? And the answers here I'm sharing with you guys. You can see the answers here on your screen. uh, if you want, you can take the screenshot of those questions. I'll show you the question once again, and you can take the screenshot of both, either question and answers, right? I just want to make the video short. That's why I'm just not reading the answers for you and even the questions. I just want to make sure that video should not go lengthy, and it should not be time waste. So you can see the answer, take the screenshot of this answers, and then later on you can note it down in your notebook. Well, guys, now thank you. It's a thank you slide for you, and I think you should complete your work now. Well, it was very nice topic to make you understand, and I hope you have understood it completely. We'll now meet in next video with another next chapter. We are now just going to explore something new. Thank you everyone, and have a nice day. Bye and take care.